Hello and welcome to week 10 of my Devlog series. This week covers the work done over the Easter period, which is work done over a 2-week period, and the tasks were to gather art references, create props and add models to the game project. Before I done my tasks, I wanted to go through the current game build, and I went through all the levels currently in the game and took notes from an artist perspective, and I done this so I could see how much of the game still needs to be done and how far off we are from completing the game, as well as what needs to be added from an artist perspective to improve the visuals of the game, and also took notes on current models and textures in the game that need improvement and anything else artists should be aware of, which I forwarded on to the artist lead. Whether they've done anything with it, I'm not too sure, but it's definitely helped me going forward, knowing how much of the game still needs to be done and what improvements I can make to the art that I've added to the game myself. Following this is onto the regular weekly tasks. And the first task was to create a ceiling dispenser, which was assigned to me by Steve. And as always, this starts with some referencing. As this was a requested item from the designers, it already come with some reference images. But looking off the FBX reference in-game, it's a different shape and sort of size. So I had a conversation with Vince just to clarify what the designers envisioned for this piece. After that, I found some dirt colours and a warning sticker I want to add as a base colour. Next, it was on to Maya to create the model. For the model, using the FBX reference as a size guide, I would create the model based off the referencing in a cube-like shape, adding some extra detail such as a control panel and some cables and some piping. For the UV, I wanted to keep the size quite similar, as the textures that will be used are all quite similar, and the game object will be on the ceiling above the player. I didn't feel it was important to give certain areas more detail than others, hence why I kept the UV quite balanced throughout. Next was the substance painter to texture the model. For the textures, I wanted to keep it true to the referencing by using this sort of shiny metal material, which I've used in silver and black. And for the bottom part, which dispensed the item, I wanted to make a plastic material, and I've added a warning decal going around the dispenser. Once I was happy with the colours, I added 2 warning stickers, one on a height map and one just on its base colour. And using the dirt colours from my referencing, I added a number of dirt generators to finish off the model. Next was to make a number of wooden crates. There was no design referencing attached to this piece, so I did some my own referencing, thinking of what would work within the game, as well as what different sizes could be used for the different types of crate. Again, added the dirt colour I used previously and some colours of woods which I'm not sure was used in the final texture. For the models, I started with a 1x1 meter box, knowing this size is needed for one of the puzzle elements, I believe, and using the extrude tool to get the shape of the box I wanted. Then using the sweep mesh tool to add this sort of cable packaging going around the box. And once I was happy with the box, I would use this as a baseline to create the other sizes of the crates I was looking for. I've also made a open variant of the cases, which I'm still yet to texture and won't be in the build until next week due to timing. For the UV, because the shape was a cube, the auto unwrap tool worked very well for this, so I used this for all of the crates, then used the layout tool to fill up the UV as much as possible. For the texturing, I used one of the smart wood materials that's preset in Substance Painter, and would tweak the colours as well as the values within the material to get the look I was going for. Then I added a shiny black material to the cable packaging. Then I would add a number of signs and arrows to the box, then using the erase tool with a specific type of brush to give the sort of worn paint look to it. Then to finish off the model, using a number of dirt generators with the dirt colours from my referencing to add dirt to the model. The same process was done throughout the wooden crates. My next task was to create some ice blocks. Here in Maya, I will quickly show you the process I used to create the ice block. I didn't gather any sort of reference images for this because I was going to follow a YouTube guide on how to create a ice texture in Substance Sampler, and the general shape of ice cubes can be quite random, so the technique I've used in Maya works quite well for what I'm going for. Unfortunately, the Substance Sampler texture didn't work quite as well as I thought it would, but as you'll see later in Substance Designer, I managed to use the textures somewhat with other textures to create a ice texture I am pleased with. For the ice block models, I would repeat this step you've just seen in Maya to create a number of different types of block. For the UV, as the shape is generally still quite cube-like, I would select the faces of the cube and spread them across the UV evenly to get an even UV. So here is the ice texture in Substance Painter. Like I said before, this is partly a failed sort of Substance sampler material maker. I will show you the original sampler texture that I made, which is okay. I wasn't too happy with the end result. I wanted to tweak it a bit. So through just trial and error and playing with a number of preset materials in Substance Painter, I managed to get a better result, which then I would create a smart material from and use on the other variants of the ice blocks. Next, I will add all the models to the game files and assign the materials with the textures, and then test them in a scene to make sure they are all working. My next task was to finish off the ammo case with the animation within the box, so I was able to add this to the Unity game files and add it to the game object, as well as make a material for the ice. Originally I was going to use Juno's smart material she has made for the fire and ice, but I couldn't get it quite to work with the shape of the ore within the ammo case, so I made one in Substance Painter quickly with a emissive texture to make it glow. For the fire ore, I reused Steve's fire emblem he made before and added the animation to it. Then I would make the ammo stand and case into a prefab and add them to the game files. I've been told the emissive textures do work in game, but I can't see them on my screen for some reason. The final task I done was a request from the designer, and that was to add a T-bar pipe to the modular pipe system that I created before, which was a quick fix in Maya to create the pipe, and I've added it into the game file as well. Overall, I'm happy with the work I've produced over the Easter period. Although the models I've made haven't been the most challenging, they are important to the game, so I'm glad they have been made now. I am unsure about the other artists and how much work they have done throughout the Easter period, as communication throughout the team hasn't been there much at all, and I look forward to catching up with them to see what work's been done and how closely we are to completing this game. Going forward, I wish to not make any more models. I feel I've made a number of models now for the game and would like to go back to touch up some of the models that I have issues with, as well as improve the textures on some of the models. Thank you for watching.